Yeah, I popped in and seen him, and then it all disappeared, bro.
Yeah, I've been sitting on my own for about 20 minutes, feeling like, am I doing something wrong here? Like, is it just me doing the stream?
Well, at least we kind of got there, guys. So I think Red Wolf, your audio might be a little bit on the crackly side. Breezy, let's hear you. How are we doing?
Hello. Check. 1, 2,
Mic
1,
check.
2.
There we go. Love that. Yeah, I'll give some feedback to the millions, guys, but at least we're here anyways. Welcome on in. This is our very first fan discussion, guys. A new series on the 8 Against the Fence channel where we open things up to even more fans. We speak to the most passionate fans on the planet and get their views and opinions on the upcoming pay-per-view, which will be UFC 302 Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. And of course, we've got a bit of time yet, but we thought we'd do this nice and early. We've got some few fun things that I want to get through with you guys, because we're going to get into a bit of a group discussion. I'm going to chuck a few questions your way. It's a little bit interactive as well. A little bit of a unique show. So we're going to give this a go for the first time and see how it goes. So I'm going to kickstart then talking about the pay-per-view as a whole. Now, in the last few pay-per-view events, we've seen someone get introduced into the Hall of Fame. We had UFC 297, we had Frankie Edgar going into the modern wing. At UFC 298, we had Wanderlei Silva going into the Pioneer wing. UFC 299 was Joanna Jędrzejczyk in the modern wing. We had UFC Perez versus Nicolau was Beneil Dariush for the contributors wing. UFC 300 was Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen going into the fight wing. And at UFC 301, we had Mauricio Shogun Hua going into the Pioneer wing. Now, I can't see there being any more inducted this year, but if you could choose one person, guys, to be inducted at UFC 302, who do you think it should be? We'll start with Breezy first. Who do you think?
So I've gone for a fight actually. I've gone for Ante Pettis versus Tony Ferguson.
Ooh. That's one I wasn't expecting.
I feel like we don't see them too often anymore, and it's one of those quite grueling, bloody fights where by the end of it they're both caked in each other's blood, and they can hardly walk to stand and have the decision and stuff like that. We've had some big names recently as well come in as individuals, so I feel like maybe another fight sits well in that listing.
All right, top stuff. All right, Red Wolf MMA. What would your pick be?
So I've been watching this fight as fights replays for a while, for a couple of weeks, and I don't know what wing I'd put him in, but it's crazy that Demetrius Johnson isn't already in it.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like the DJ is just a pioneer. Maybe I don't know if it's the pioneer as old as like Shogun, but Demetrius needs to be in there somewhere. He's got the most consecutive title defenses. Very, very underappreciated. I think his skills are just unreal, and I'm surprised he hasn't been inducted sooner, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think it's purely because he's under contract with ONE FC, but maybe once he retires, that's when he'll probably get inducted. Now, your mics are still a little bit on the crackly side, but if you're able to sort out, that would be great. But if not, don't worry. See what you can do. We'll get to Tay now. Tay, I know you've got an awesome pick for this. Fire away, my man.
I've got a couple to mention just quick. I'm not going to go into too many details on them, but obviously when it comes to Demetrius Johnson was one of my thoughts, kind of took it out of my mouth, to be honest. I think it's because he's not retired also. Maybe once he's retired, they'll get him in there in the modern wing. Frank Shamrock is someone who I believe has been deserving for decades because of a personal beef with certain people. I believe his contributions to the early days of light heavyweight go unheeded. And also, I'd like to see Dave Manet in the UFC Hall of Fame eventually. He was the first ever champion at middleweight. He's really one of the only first champions besides Frank Shamrock that also hasn't been inducted. So, yeah, any of those guys would be great.
All right, some top picks, guys. I love it. Straight off the bat. Now, usually we ask the MMA community, sort of the beginning of a pay-per-view week, what their rating would be for the main card. With UFC 302 coming up, what rating would you guys give it? Let's start with Red Wolf. What would you give the card overall as out of 10?
Oh, and this is also testing the mic, so I'm sorry if it's still a bit crackly. Out of 10, I think it's going to be a bit of one of them that slides under the radar, where you're going to think it's going to be like a 7 or 8, but then something could happen that really brings it up. So I'm looking at it, I'm going to say it's a 7 to an 8. But I reckon there's some things that could happen that could make it go a lot higher than that. But for now, 7 or 8.
Okay, 7 and 8 for Red Wolf. Tay, what are you going for?
I'm kind of around Red Wolf's level. I believe 8 out of 10. You know, there's a possibility of it going a lot higher, but on paper, to a hardcore fan who knows these names, you know, it's very intriguing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Breezy.
Only one fight.
All right. Okay.
I'm gonna go for a 5.
Ooh, bringing it down, Breezy. Go on. Explain why.
Doesn't get me hyped at all. I think realistically, this is Poirier's last shot. Makhachev, I think, will start to stand, then take it down and finish him. The only fight, if I'm honest, that actually gets me excited is Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa, just purely because I know the press is going to be great for that. Kevin Holland, I don't know. We saw a slightly different version of him last time, so hopefully he takes a back step, becomes a bit more mouthy and a bit funner in the ring. I mean, Michael Olszewski is quite a reserved, quiet guy, so I like that matchup. But overall, I'm just not that hyped for this one, especially the prelims as well. I like they're fight night prelims for me, I think.
Okay, talking of prelims then, we'll start with you, Breezy. Which fight on the prelims are you most looking forward to then?
So
if there is one.
I put down Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews. I think of all of them, that's probably the one. Phil Rowe, he's got the power. Jake Matthews, I'm quite intrigued by, especially to see how far he can go. So for me, when I was looking at the prelims, that's probably the standout one for me.
Okay. Has anyone got a different option?
I think Nico Price and Alex Morono is just going to be an absolute stand-up war as well. I had those two tied kind of for the ones I thought would be, you know, equal. Otherwise, Kopylov versus Cesar Almeida also looks like it. You know, it could be fireworks.
Yeah, we could see Kopylov back in there as well. You know, because he was on a bit of a mad one, really. Red Wolf, what would you going with something different, or
no,
are you siding with Breezy?
I was going to go with Price and Moreno as well because I like Ego. I've liked Ego for a while, so it'd be good to see him come back. Other than that, I was going to say Phil Rowe and Jay Matthews. So Breezy caught me on that one. Those two are intriguing, and I'm looking forward to Jay Super on steroids, of course. You know, Kopylov.
Which would be your fight of the night then, overall? What's it going to be?
Ooh, fight of the night. I think Dustin could bring out fight of the night. With Dustin, with being Dustin's possible last fight, I think he might want to go all out, you know, guns blazing type thing. Or Strickland and Costa. That could be a very good one.
Okay. Breezy, do you agree with Red Wolf there, or are you going with someone different?
Fight of the night. It's a tough one. If Dustin can stay standing up and doesn't get taken down, it's got potential. I'm quite a fan of Randy Brown. I believe he's stepping into the rankings kind of level now, and he's got a point to prove. And I think this card could potentially be his time to shine.
Yeah.
And I think he comes out. I think he brings it, and I think that could be, for me, kind of the under the radar fight of the night.
He's looked like a world beater since losing to Jack Della Maddalena, hasn't he? And that last
Yeah,
performance is really
recently
good.
he's looked fantastic, and he's in the right place now. I think where he can show his tools, and he's earned it.
No, I completely agree with you there. Completely agree with you. T, are you siding with any of these? What's your opinion on Fight of the Night?
Well, with what those two said, obviously both great picks. I think that if Costa fights the way that he should, like if he fights how he fought Vettori, I think that has the possibility to take Fight of the Night pretty easily. But also, I think Holland and Oleg Jacek actually has the possibility to as well. I think that they'll probably keep it standing also and slug it out. So it has the possibility to end with a stunning finish.
Nice, good opinions. Ash chiming in the chat says Costa versus Strickland Fight of the Night as well. So, yeah, some mixed calls there. All right, well, that's kind of like previews the card as a whole. Now we're going to get into some predictions. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to count down from 3, and I want those people who are siding with Islam Makhachev to put their right arm up, and those who are siding with Dustin Poirier to put their left arm up. Okay? Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah, go on.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh! So, that's 3 of us going for Islam Makhachev, and Red Wolf is going for Dustin Poirier.
It's a head versus heart, that kind of thing. Like logically, I know Islam is Islam. You know what I mean? It's going to be Dustin's toughest fight, I think, after Khabib. But I'd love to see Dustin get the belt, especially if it's his farewell tour. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those head versus heart type of things, and I do that a lot when I'm doing picks. You know what I mean?
All right.
I'll stand alone with this one.
All right.
I'll take us back, JK, to the champ predictions at the start of the year, and I think everyone landed on Makhachev still being champ at the end of the year, didn't we? So
yeah.
I don't see anyone currently in their division that's really contended to take that belt off of him.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess the question for you, Breezy, and Tay is, unlike Khabib, do you think that Islam will strike more with Poirier, and how confident are you that Islam can hold his own on the feet against him?
Would you like to go first, Breezy?
Yeah, I think Islam. If we compare Khabib and Islam, I think Islam is better on the feet.
Is that a bit of a risk, though? What do you think?
I think he will fight a lot on the feet in this fight purely because he wants to prove a point rather than it's his forte, and he can always fall back on the fact that he can wrestle the guy. Poirier, he's still incredibly good, and we've seen that recently. Is he as good as when he fought Khabib? Probably not. Age has got to play a factor at some point. And I think when you're fighting the people that like Islam is a more well-rounded, younger version at this moment in time, obviously, than Khabib. And I think if Dustin's stepping in against that, I just don't see him being able to do it for 5 rounds, particularly.
Okay, T, have you got anything to add to that?
I do think that Breezy made several valid points, but I do think that he might have the opposite approach. I know that Khabib was training with him a bit for this camp. He's probably taken it upon him to ask for some advice because he also fought him before, and he's going to say, put his butt on the ground, brother. Don't risk it, I think, and I think also, to be honest, I think Dustin's going to jump for a guillotine. I'm serious. I think he will.
Don't be silly.
I think he's addicted. But yeah, I just think overall, when it comes down to it, I think he will strike, and he will strike at the beginning of each round for sure. He may stand up, but I also think that he will respect Dustin's capabilities, and I think that he will try to employ his ground game.
All right, okay, yeah, it would be a smart move, of course. You can't really take any risks at this high stage of your career. Now, for Red Wolf, who's picked Dustin Poirier, hypothetically, if Poirier manages to keep this fight standing, do you think he will get the knockout win? Does he have to get the knockout win in this fight?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, he has to finish the fight to win the fight, I think, because Islam, like Breezy and Taylor said, Islam is going to implement the ground game. He's going to strike with him for a little bit. He's probably going to get Dustin thinking, oh, he's striking with me, he's going to stand. And then he's going to go for the takedowns. I think he does need a finish. If he does get the finish, well, the only way I think he gets it is he needs to trick Islam as well into thinking he's going to jump the gillet, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. So kind of like the way he was with Sandini, but better, if you know what I mean. So I picked Dustin, like I say, from the art, but it is going to be a tough one for him. And I think the only way to win is to get a finish, whether that's by knockout or gillet. But I don't. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Okay. That's some good stuff, guys. We'll move on to the next part of the show, which is yes or no from a show of hands. I'm going to ask you guys to raise your hands after I call out yes or no to these questions. After I'll say some statements, sorry, and then I will ask for a yes or no from you. So those who say yes, just put your hand up, and then I'll say no, and then those who are going for no, put your hand up. So let's see how this goes then. So if Makhachev picks up the win in dominating fashion, would you like to see him challenge for the welterweight belt, or is it too soon? Who's going for yes?
So
Show of hands for no then. All right. Okay, we'll start with you, T, then. Why are you going for no?
Because he is on the verge right now of tying 3 others. Benson Henderson, Khabib, and Frankie Edgar for the most defenses in lightweight history. Now, that's tied with heavyweights, 3 defenses. I would like to see someone, if they are capable, which he is, I would like to see someone string something more significant together. And, you know, he could really, really establish a legacy for himself if he chooses to do so. And it's not like it takes away the possibility of moving up to welterweight at that shot anytime he wants. When you're an extremely dominant champion, if you can already do it after 3 defenses, you can do it after 5, you know, in my opinion.
Okay, Breezy, do you agree with what Tay has just said there, or have you got a slightly different kind of take on it?
Yeah, my slightly different take is I want to protect my boy. I think if he moves up, and this is another thing that we said in the champ predictions, is that by the end of the year, I reckon that he could be a 2-division champ. I mean, the guy only fights once or twice a year, so we're running out of time for that to happen. But we have got enough time, depending on how Manchester pans out. I do agree with Tay. I'd like to see someone put a more solid record in there, which is going to be beaten for a while. It makes a big statement against his legacy. But at the same time, I'm a little bit scared for Leon. I'm not going to lie.
All right, then for Red Wolf, then I want to ask then, because you've gone no as well. But if Islam was to move up and fight Leon, how do you think Leon's chances go against?
I'm with Breezy, man. I do want to protect Leon. I think at the same time, though, Leon's quite good with wrestlers, I've noticed, and he's facing another one with Bilal. So it's like he's stifled Usman's takedowns in the second fight. He did well against Colby, although Colby seemed a shell of himself. And we're going to see how he does against Bilal. Is Islam a better wrestler than those 3? Probably. Do you know what I mean? But also, Leon's got that long rangey movement. He darts in and out. He seems to keep the distance really well. So I don't think it's going to be a shutout. I think it'd be very tough for him, but and I'm trying not to be biased, but I think Leon, I think Leon could do very well, surprisingly well. Maybe not win, but maybe he could.
Yeah, I think if you can pass the test against Bilal, then you've probably got a good chance.
Yeah. I mean, Bilal trains with the
Islam.
camp as well, with Islam and Khabib, so he'll be talent, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of suck, wouldn't it? Because it almost feel like the UFC are just constantly giving Leon wrestlers, really, isn't it?
Yeah, like give him a striker. Come on, give him something.
Sorry, T, what was you going to say?
I'm just like, that's all there is in the top 5.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to the next one then. Now, this one is, if Dustin Poirier gets the upset victory, would he have to immediately defend it against Justin Gaethje in the trilogy? Who's going for yes? Show your hands. Trilogy straight after. Oh, Tay's wondering. He's had to think about it. So we got T. Go on then.
I think the UFC will probably try to push it. I don't know if it's like mandatory, as you said, but I don't see there being a reason why it shouldn't happen. I think it would be a great trilogy to see. It's 1-1. I think, it needs to be settled. Both people won by finish. So, a decisive end to the rivalry would be nice, from a fan perspective. But I think what you say, it might be necessary for the UFC. Might be, a must, as you said. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, for the record then, guys who are going for no, raise your hands. All right. Okay, we'll start with you, Red Wolf, then. Why do you think that Dustin Poirier, who should Dustin Poirier defend it against?
I'm kind of in agreement with saying that I'd love to see the trilogy, but Justin, I think, needs a bit of time out. I mean, he just lost to Max in one of the best fights we've seen in a long time. So I think if Justin comes back, gets a win, then possibly, and Dustin's holding the belt, then that'd be something I'd be looking forward to see. If Dustin does win the belt, it's going to be a weird one, but it would depend what happens at UFC 303. I know that McGregor and Chandler are fighting a welterweight, and McGregor's saying he doesn't want to go down to lightweight, but I think if you've got Dustin Poirier holding that belt, it might kind of sway him a little bit. But even Dustin's kind of said he's not interested in that either. But I don't think Conor could make lightweight either at this point in time. So he may probably get the Islam rematch. I think they might put that together. You know what I mean? If Dustin wins.
An immediate rematch then. Okay. Breezy, what do you want to see instead?
So Red Wolf touched on it slightly there. After seeing such a good performance and seeing this guy up at that weight class, I'd like to see him fight Max.
Yeah.
After seeing that Gaethje fight, Max can clearly fight at that weight.
Yeah.
He looked quite comfortable. BMF 2-time possibly on the line as well for Dustin. Dustin's getting towards the end of his career. It's a big money fight. Does Dustin retire if he gets the belt? No, I don't think he does. I think he's probably got 1 or 2 fights left after that. I think just the BMF lightweight title, I prefer that over watching Max fight to Poirier.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. All right, fair enough. I mean, I'm going to throw something completely different your way now. Say that Max beats Ilia Topuria because there's a lot of smoke coming around that fight at the moment. It looks like they're looking at it for perhaps maybe September or so. We could get an announcement over the next few weeks. Say, if Max was able to beat Topuria and he has the featherweight belt and the BMF belt, does he then challenge for the lightweight belt, guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I mean, he has a claim, surely,
Yeah.
right?
If that's the way he wants to do it, then yes. But I think after beating Gaethje, he could potentially ask to fight the winner of this fight.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. No, I
See, what do you reckon?
Well, I agree. Technically, he earned his ranking in lightweight with his last victory, so he's technically ranked in both divisions. He can do whatever he pleases, I say.
Yeah,
and my blessing.
The honorary Canadian. Now, myself and Red Wolf had a bit of a discussion about this earlier, really, and we were talking about kind of Max shouldn't really be dropping back down to featherweight to challenge to Poirier, and that he should really stay at lightweight and continue to see out his career at lightweight, should we say, and challenge for the belt, because he should really be pushing towards that as a next possible step. Breezy, what do you think? Because you're kind of thinking the same, right?
Yeah, you see it typically as well with fighters as they mature, they move up in weight. And now Max has got plenty of time left. I listened to his podcast with Joe Rogan, and he was very adamant and very clear on the fact that he wants to retire the sport. He doesn't want the sport to retire him. I think in that progression of that, then naturally he really should. Well, it's all up to him, isn't it? But naturally, if you see the way that most people go, he will now be at that stage probably where he's moving up in weight. When you come to it, if Poirier does beat Makhachev, and I would look at that scope and I'd go, right, do I want to fight Ilya or do I want to fight Poirier? I think as Max, seeing as you fought Poirier before, I'd feel a lot more comfortable going in at that weight class, not having to have the weight cut, and facing Poirier than I would against Ilya, who's a much shorter guy, quite stocky for that weight class. I think if you just match it up, better for him as an individual. I'd lean staying at lightweight and go with Poirier.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. We have some chats over in YouTube. I've just noticed. Yols Svensson, thanks for chiming by. I think Islam, obviously. Justin Villiger says, think Roman KOs gets KO'd by Almeida before the fluffy fight. Everyone was saying, here comes Roman Kopylov, and now he a small favourite against Almeida. Should be easy win for him, right? So, what do you guys got any predictions on that particular fight as Justin's just brought it up?
Which one, the Almeida and Roman?
Yeah.
Striking is certainly much sharper and crisper than Almeida's is, 100%. I think his last showing, it definitely wasn't the best for him. I can't remember if it was on short notice or not, but he was mostly wrestled, if I remember correctly. But yeah, overall, I think that it's really a 50-50 fight with that one. It's hard to predict who will get the win because they both have power, they both have good striking and the capability to finish the fight. Flip a coin.
Flip a coin on it. All right, cool. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for stopping by, gentlemen. This has been an absolute pleasure in partaking in this fan discussion for the very first time. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys enjoyed it over on YouTube and Millions, and make sure you subscribe to us on both of those platforms. If you subscribe to us via YouTube, make sure you got the notifications bell rang, because we've got lots more content coming your way during this week off without no event. And of course, next week we will have the breakdown show with Ash and Sai on the Wednesday, and we'll have the watch along as well, the usual pay-per-view time at that weekend as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Any final words, guys, before we completely say goodbye?
No, only Dana changed the time to 3:04. That's it.
He's got campaigning. Yes, get us campaign.
The campaign's still ongoing. I've not given up yet.
I love that. All right, T. Any last words?
Well, thank you for having me. Obviously, it's obviously a great, great place to be, great place to discuss, and it's always an honor to, talk about the sport with the team.
You too.
Breezy.
Don't watch alone, watch along.
There you go. Don't watch alone, watch along. That's absolutely damn right. All right, guys. Much love. Appreciate you for sticking around. Hit the like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now, folks.
All right, boys.
Boys, can everyone still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Our video was so messed up at points. I don't know if you guys saw it.